Welcome to the second part in this video series about the Motorola Saber, as seen featured in the hit movie Jurassic Park. Now, in the last episode of this series we looked at the prop radio that appears from time to time. There were a number of about 15 of these made, I think, for the film, and then we set about manufacturing one in 3D in Design Spark, which is a freely available piece of software should you wish to have a go at this yourself. And because it looked so good in 3D on the screen, I decided to purchase a resin printer and a curing station. Because this radio is nice and smooth-sided, I thought that conventional 3D printing wouldn't really do for this project. So I set about manufacturing the parts and printing off manufacturing labels and printing those off for the cover. And as you can see here with the two halves first printed off, these look really sort of smooth, like bars of soap really. I was very impressed with how these initially came together. So with that, I looked at 3D printing some knobs and found the ones at the front there, conventional, weren't as good as the resin ones at the back. So that obviously probably goes without saying really. So we started assembling up the top of the faceplate for the radio, and I did some testing on how to light the radio, which was trickier than I thought actually in the end. So I got some electronics in, fairly simple stuff, a couple of diodes there, one for the top and one to illuminate the backlight. And then I set about seeing what would be the best options for the top of the unit. Now I decided to 3D print the antenna for the unit rather than purchase one, because I wanted to actually make this so I could actually just manufacture these without having to order anything too particular or have anything come from overseas. And I decided to use the sound module, which can be externally switched on by simply putting a resistor across the input there on the board there, which is normally used for an LDR. Let's have a listen to how that sounds. It's pretty loud actually, isn't it? Now for the buttons, this was a bit trickier than I had thought. I tried engraving and embossing the buttons with not really, I mean the text came out great, but in the end I opted for using the Brother printer and sticking some labels on it. It just was the better option. I trialled this and it just didn't work as well as I had thought. However, the labels printed off on the Brother printer on the clear, the white on the clear, looked absolutely great, and it matches the original buttons almost perfectly, so very pleased with that. And then when offered up to the case, I mean look how smooth that case is. They look really great. So I set about, got hold of some Tamiya masking tape and started to mask off the battery compartment box ready for spraying, which I did the very next day. And I was very pleased with how these came out. Now the radios as they are now tend to be a slightly grey colour, but I do believe that initially when these were launched they were white and they're faded. I've managed to find some rubber stripping for the PTT button and for the banding that runs down the side of the radio. It's absolutely a match and is also self-adhesive, so I was very pleased to have found that. It took some time, but it's nice when you find something that matches almost perfectly what was on the original prop. And this is a prop, bear in mind. So I managed to get some green perspex for the screen, and again printed off a clear label for that, which reflects the prop exactly. I had to mask off the inside of the radio to stop any light from escaping from the diode and coming through the case, which is slightly translucent. So I just did that with some plastic, some sticky back plastic, what we call in the UK, which is vinyl elsewhere, I suppose. So as you can see here, coming together, even on the table, all disassembled, it started to look pretty decent, and I started to get quite excited. However, I did find that the illuminating backlight wasn't really well positioned enough. It was giving me pools of light rather than a nice even spread. So I decided to pop this into my helping hands there and rearrange the position of the LED. And in fact, I used two LEDs to actually illuminate the display in the end, and some cotton wool and some felt to diffuse the light, which worked really well. Now I am using a 9-volt battery. I could have powered this all off of the lithium battery, but I wanted a bit of weight in the base of the radio, so that was the reason for using the 9-volt for the lights, and then obviously the USB rechargeable battery for the sound effects. And yeah, so the buttons as laid on the case, they're self-adhesive, just stick them in. This could obviously be made, they could be made as functioning buttons in the future should I wish to. This is all fairly adaptable, but this is just a prop here with the on-off switch, which turns just the lights on and off on the top, and then the other rotary switch turns the sound on. So you can have the lights on without the sound, or the sound on without the lights, whichever way you want to do it really. And there are also volume controls there, so you could put a little amplifier in and switch the volume up and down. But as you can see here, it's coming together really nice. The front plate is probably a little bit too glossy in that black colour, but having done it, I really liked it. I was going to actually matte it down a bit, but I kind of like the bling factor of it, so I'm going to leave it for now on the prototype anyway. And overall, I'm really pleased how this came out. Now, using this Brother label printer, which a few people have asked about, it's absolutely fantastic. So many options there for making labels. I decided to mimic the front of the label on the front of the radio there, and also because it looks so great, I just thought it's got to have its own box and its own unboxing. So there we go. We did a sticker for that, and this is the radio, and I'm hoping you're going to be as impressed as I was, because I think it looks absolutely superb. You can see the overall finish of the prop here. I think certainly matches what the original prop would have looked like in the movie, I think. And you know, it doesn't really need a huge amount more to make it you know, look almost like an absolutely real radio. I mean, certainly, I mean, you'll know if you watch my videos, I get very close to the radios and the things that I review, as it's my style. I decided to pop a Hammond logo on there. This was going to be Hammond's radio. Again, it's not screen accurate, but I just thought, you know, he's the boss man. Surely he'd have his own radio. So I just embellished that just for a bit of fun, and just because I could. And yeah, this is the radio, all ready to rock and roll. And in the hand, like I say, it feels and looks so good. I was really impressed with how well the buttons pop out of the set, and the screen as well, particularly when it's turned on. Looks really convincing. Obviously a bit less convincing with the text on, but that matches the original prop. So we'll switch the lights on there. Now the lights do look like they're pooling a bit on my, it's just my camera there. It doesn't actually, it looks more diffused than that. So we'll have a little listen to it and see what it sounds like.
Damn it. Dead end.
Wait a minute. Yes, there should have been a right turn back there somewhere.
Look above you.
There should be a large purple cable and pipes all heading in the same direction. Follow that.
1, 2, 3. Okay. Charge.
In other words, contact position is a round green button.
And I think in the past this radio may well have influenced the designers of some other radios that seem to be quite popular. And that's always an option if you want to get hold of a radio for cosplay and you don't want to make one yourself. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this little look and the remake of this fabulous Saber radio, and I hope that you can join me into the new year on the channel for some more shenanigans. And I hope you're all looking forward to Christmas, and I really hope that you get something as cool as this under the tree. Like I say, I might knock a few of these up in the new year, we shall see. But I hope you've really enjoyed this look at this wonderful radio and my reincarnation of it. So please like and subscribe and share this video as much as you can. That'd be really great. It helps me no end when you guys do that. Thanks for watching.